Welcome to this explainer. You know the vibe of a gaming cafe. The flashing RGB lights, the energy drinks, the constant hum of cooling fans. Walking in, it just feels like a total gold mine, right? Well, behind that flashy aesthetic hides a surprisingly brutal economic reality. Today, we're diving straight into the numbers, the strategies, and the hidden traps of running one of these places in 2026. Let's get right into it. From the outside looking in, this looks like the absolute dream business for a gamer. I mean, you're literally getting paid to let people play video games. But as our sources point out, the reality is, well, it's a relentless economic machine. You're not just throwing a permanent LAN party for your buddies, you are stepping into a highly demanding, high fixed cost environment where every single second ticking on the clock is literally money burning away. Okay, picture the absolute ideal setup for a second. You go all in, you invest in 20 top of the line stations. You've got that awesome, immersive RGB lighting dialed in perfectly. You hear the rapid fire clicking of mechanical keyboards. Folks are battling it out in competitive multiplayer. The smell of pizzas in the air. It's got the snacks, the drinks, the whole shebang. It feels like the ultimate vibe. The whole concept seems so incredibly straightforward, doesn't it? You buy the gear, people rent the seats, and you just sit back and watch the hourly fees roll in while everyone else has fun. Totally foolproof. Well, not exactly. Actually, getting those doors open is just the very first tiny hurdle. Take a look at this. A 2026 industry guide suggests budgeting anywhere from $800 to $1,500 just for a single PC station. And here's the kicker. That is just the tower. That completely ignores the high refresh rate monitors, the specialized mechanical keyboards, the precision mice, premium headsets, ergonomic chairs, literally everything else. Plus, we haven't even talked about enterprise-grade internet, massive AC units to stop the room from melting, security systems, or, the actual commercial building itself. So yeah, your casual gaming spot, it's suddenly a massive capital investment. And that massive initial investment triggers what might be the biggest, scariest trap in the entire industry, the depreciation clock. Look, technology simply doesn't stay new forever. We all know gamers are a super demanding audience. They want the absolute best performance, period. That top-tier RTX card that's crushing frame rates today, it's going to be old news tomorrow. So you're essentially stuck on this never-ending treadmill. You're forced to use today's hard-earned revenue just to pay for tomorrow's inevitable hardware upgrades. But hey, let's say things are actually going great. Your cafe is packed, it's buzzing, and you're pulling in a really impressive sounding 20 grand a month in revenue. You see that 20K and think, wow, I've made it. But hold on, revenue is definitely not profit. It is so incredibly easy for new owners to look out at a crowded room, multiply the number of heads by the hourly rate, and just assume they're getting rich. It's a total psychological trap. Because the second you open up the books, you are attacked by these relentless, hidden goblins. I'm talking commercial rent, staff salaries, and absolutely wild electricity bills from running and cooling dozens of high-end rigs at the exact same time. Then add in software licensing, cybersecurity, internet, and maintenance. And think about this. If someone breaks a headset or a graphics card dies, you pay twice. You pay to fix the hardware, and you completely lose the revenue while that station just sits there completely useless. That 20 grand? It shrinks into an incredibly fragile little profit margin really fast. So what does all this actually boil down to? One single, absolutely crucial metric: occupancy rate. That's the percentage of available time your gaming stations are actually filled and generating money. I want you to really think about that for a second. This one single number is the absolute heartbeat of a gaming cafe. If you take your eyes off it, it will quietly destroy your entire business. Let's break down the math real quick. Say you charge $5 an hour for those 20 PCs, running 12 hours a day. Now, 100% capacity sounds fantastic, right? That's 240 build hours, giving you $1,200 a day in pure fantasy money. But let's step back into reality for a second. Tuesday mornings, dead. Thursday afternoons, crickets. If you hit a realistic 50% occupancy rate, your ridiculously expensive hardware is just sitting idle half the time, instantly slashing your daily takedown to $600. And this brings us to what our sources call the empty seat trap. Think of it exactly like an airplane taking off with an empty row. Every single hour a gaming chair sits empty is revenue that is gone forever. You can't put yesterday's empty hour on sale tomorrow. Once the clock ticks past it, poof, it evaporates completely. So you could have a cafe that looks totally slammed on a Friday night, but because it was a ghost town all week, it's actually bleeding money. Now, here is the real plot twist of this whole explainer. When you really map all this out, you start to realize who you're actually competing against. Your biggest rival is not that shiny new internet cafe that just opened down the street. It's actually the customer's own bedroom. Put yourself in the gamer's shoes for a minute. Why on earth would you leave the house when you can game in your sweatpants, completely barefoot, and just raid your own fridge for free food? Seriously, a gamer with a solid PC at home pays basically zero hourly costs. They already paid for their internet, they own their games, and they have total 100% privacy. If your grand business plan is literally just putting 20 PCs in a room, there is zero reason for them to put on shoes, drive over to your spot, and hand you their cash. To really understand how businesses fight this massive home field advantage, our sources looked at the fiercely competitive gaming zones over in major Pakistani cities. Take this premier spot called Arcadium in Karachi, for example. They're heavily advertising top-of-the-line RTX 5060 rigs, dedicated PS5 stations, private rooms operating 24/7. They explicitly know they have to offer an experience that is just impossible to replicate in a standard bedroom setup. And their pricing strategy is honestly fascinating. Looking at these 2026 rates, PC gaming sits at about 199 rupees an hour, but then look at the PS5 stations. They command a massive premium at 599 rupees an hour. Why the huge jump? Well, a PS5 is specialized hardware that's absolutely perfect for local couch co-op with your friends, something most PC gamers just don't have set up at home. It proves customers aren't just hunting for the cheapest hour. They will happily pay a premium for specialized setups and unique environments. So, how do you actually beat the gamer's bedroom? You have to transform your business from a dark room full of computers into a thriving, energetic social hub. Humans are social creatures, right? You got to add weekly tournaments, local leaderboards, exclusive memberships, private group rooms, maybe even host watch parties for big esports events. When a gamer's entire squad decides your cafe is their default hangout spot, it becomes their clubhouse. You build a social mode that a solitary desk in a bedroom just can't compete with. The smartest owners follow a very specific playbook instead of just maxing out their credit cards on the slashiest gear on day one. Step one, really understand your local demand. Are you catering to college students, hardcore competitive players, or casual console groups? Step two, calculate those break-even hours so you know exactly what keeps the lights on. Step three, optimize your station count to match that exact demand. And step four, actively engineer those crucial social and community features right from the start. Which brings us to a really fundamental truth in this industry. The goal is absolutely never to build the biggest cafe. It's about engineering the most efficient one. Seriously, a packed, high-energy 20-seat room that features a couple of premium private zones is infinitely better and way more profitable than a massive 50-seat echoing warehouse filled with empty, rapidly depreciating plastic. You want every single seat hot and active. It all really boils down to this fantastic quote from our sources: "You're not selling gaming hardware, you're selling time." I love that perspective. It hits the nail right on the head. You are ultimately selling convenience, community, and a shared social experience that just feels totally different than sitting alone at home with a headset on. So, the next time you find yourself staring at those glowing RGB lights, daydreaming about opening your own gaming cafe, don't ask yourself how much the PCs are going to cost. Ask yourself one simple question: how exactly are you going to convince a gamer to leave their house? Because honestly, if you can't answer that, your business is already game over.